Hey, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome to this Angel Tarot. So, I thought I would just do a fun little tarot spread on the astrology for 2025, which, if you follow tropical astrology, I talk about tropical, talk about sidereal. 2025 is going to be, there's going to be a lot in regards to the aspects of Virgo and Pisces, which is the Hierophant and the High Priestess. I'm sorry, the Emperor, which is Virgo energy, and the High Priestess, which is Pisces energy. So this year is a year for letting your intuition and your inner self be your guide, as is the Hermit energy. It's a very introspective energy. It's a very, I trust myself to make decisions, very kind of meditative mindfulness, focusing on yourself, and learning to trust that inner wisdom. If you don't have that, cultivating that, learning how to trust your own judgment, trust your own sense of wisdom here. So I thought I would do a cute little reading. This is the Tarot de Marçal, but we're going to use my favorite, which is the Tarot of the Divine, to get some insight, see what's good. So yes, this is going to be more based on the tropical astrology and not the sidereal. So if you do have any placements in Virgo and or Pisces, this could really be your year. You could really shine bright, but I feel like it doesn't matter about your placement. If you go inwards, you're going to do well. As I'm shuffling here, the Hermit's already coming out. The Hermit in this deck is the Deer, which I feel like is a very interesting for me in my personal journey as coming back home in Wisconsin. There's a lot of deer here. And I thought, well, what does that mean spiritually? Resilience, determination, and stamina. That's kind of what the deer represent here. So we're going to let the deer be our spirit animal for this reading. And we're going to deep dive. Let's see what comes up for 2025, the year that we go inwards. It's also the number 9 if you add all the numbers together. And of course, this information I got from astrologers. I didn't collect that myself. You can watch any astrologer on the internet, on YouTube, talk about 2025 Virgo and Pisces. And of course, I have my Pisces and tropical. My sun sign is Pisces. I don't have any major placements in Virgo myself, but I am a Pisces. So I understand we are the last sign of the zodiac. And there's something about regenerating all the signs, because we are the last sign of the zodiac. What do we have? What's going on? Divinity, tell us what's going on for this year. It's going to be a year of heavy responsibility. Yes, this is a burden of responsibility. And I feel like, especially if we are honest with ourselves, because the Hermit is, if you study the Kabbalah in the Thoth Tarot, the Hermit is actually representative of God. God has whatever you believe is, whether you believe it's collective unconscious, whatever your idea of God is, because I know I spend a lot of time being an atheist, agnostic. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, it's a sense of wisdom. It's a sense of togetherness. It's a sense of we're not alone, right? And God has a lot of responsibility on the shoulders to have that much knowledge and to have that much care for everybody, all of humanity. And that is a lot of responsibility. And it requires you to be brutally honest with yourself. And I always remind myself that every day I wake up, I have to parent myself. If I'm not parenting myself, if I'm not taking ownership and responsibility of my own health, mental, physical, spiritual, then I'm not going to be any use to anyone else as a spiritual advisor or in any aspect of my life. It's the same as I drank all night with my friends, I smoked, and now I have to wake up and be a parent, go to school, go to work. I'm not doing so well with my responsibilities if I'm not parenting myself, because you have to set the example. 100%. It's difficult having the burden of responsibility, especially when we're in this year of, I got to go inwards. I got to see, why do I do this to myself? Why aren't things improving? I can't blame my parents anymore. I can't blame any outside influences. And if I am still blaming them, then I have to take a step back and realize that I have more responsibility with what happens in my life than everybody else around me. What else do we have for the year of the deer, the year of the hermit, and the high priestess? Number 9. All right, we have the 10 of swords. The 10 of swords is a beginning, because if you're brutally honest with yourself and taking responsibility for being the hermit, God, or being good, let's just say being good, because God, that's what it really is. It's gonna be hard. It could be difficult. It could be a difficult transition, because you might have to step away from certain things or certain people or certain situations or relationships, and that can be very, very challenging. It can be devastating, right? Because transition, everything that we do, if we're doing it right, doing it from the right places, it can be difficult. We're going to be uncomfortable. It's a growth period. We have a period of growth. So it can be very, very difficult at first. But then we get past that, because everything is temporary if we're really doing the work. And at the end of the day, it's going to cause you more suffering to stay in something that's not genuine, that's not honest, that's not good for you, right? Burden of responsibility of having to leave something or change something or disappoint someone, right? Or deal with my own sense of pain or loss. Sit with it, because I always like to see, yeah, well, we can see the hermit is God, we can see the hermit is introspection, but also it's like at the top of the mountain, being with yourself, sitting in that quiet contemplation. And for me, yeah, I have a lot of anxiety, so sitting still instead of going to talk to someone, going to a bar, doing something bad for me, sitting with myself can also still bring up that sense of anxiety, but that's exactly what you need to do, right? 4 of Swords, okay? And the 4 of Swords is about taking a break from the difficult things. As I was just saying, if I don't really want that pain anymore, then, the pain of whatever is causing me the suffering, I have to sit with the reality of how I got myself into it. Can I get myself out of it? Do I have to stay in this uncomfortable place? Uh, is it my responsibility to stay in this situation? Is it a selfish thing? Because I see the 4 of Swords as a meditation, as a rest, as a break from the pain. Sometimes you need to physically rest. Your body needs to rest, because if you're constantly in motion, you're not going to be able to process the things that are happening, which can be hard in our hustle bustle life. It can be really hard in our hustle bustle life. 8 of Swords. If you can see here what's going on, the 8 of Swords. 8 of Swords is restriction. It's mental unrest. It's negative self-talk. It can sometimes manifest as abuse or coming from a place of fear and survival. It can be a scary place in our minds. So it's once again, goes back to the 10 of Wands, our responsibility to clean up our minds, to quiet our minds. It's not somebody else who's going to come in there and start feeding you thoughts, the good thoughts. You have to do that for yourself. Everything starts with the mind. If our mind, and I'll even go back to the Carl Jung. I talk about Carl Jung and the collective unconscious and being awakened to the unconscious. If you're honest with yourself with the kind of thoughts that you have, that you're more than likely going to find the key to your happiness is in reframing those thoughts. Being the support system for yourself when you have that negative self-talk. Knight of Swords, slowing down, being gentle with yourself. I always see the Knight of Swords as very aggressive, very fast moving. Life can be fast moving, and it's up to us to know when we need to slow down and we need to stop. But also to be gentle with ourselves. I said that before. It's really important. It's very important. Also, nobody's going to ride in on a night on a horse to save us. That's once again our responsibility to save ourselves. Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands. Okay, the Knight of Wands is very free spirited. I love that because there's a lot of finding filling this up here. There's a lot of heaviness here that we've been pulling with all these cards here. The Eight of Swords, the Ten of Wands. It's a lot of heaviness, and I see the Knight of Wands as like this carefree kind of energy. It's really it's a fire energy. I think it's Saggy. It's fire energy. It's seeing things from a new light, a carefree kind of way. Almost like when you're in, I'll give it a real world example of if you're going through a breakup, or if you're going through, you had just a rough day, all you want to do is come home, eat some sugar, and watch your favorite comedy series to lighten the mood, and to laugh, because, and we even talk about that in Buddhism, in the Buddhist temple that I go to. You can sit with things and you can laugh and lighten things up, but that's all we can really do, because life is a series of suffering and chaos. It's always going to be, this temperamental cycle. What else do we have here? We have the King of Wands in reverse, recognizing people. So it goes back to that being responsible for ourselves and the people that we surround ourselves. I know there's all those memes online. You are the 3 people that you spend the most time with. And if any of the people you spend the most amount of time with are not good for you, or they're shady, or they're this and that, that's a reflection of you knowing when to set boundaries with people who maybe don't have the best of intentions. The King of Wands in reverse there. 2 of Cups, forming more friendships, because the Hermit is almost always very isolated at the top of the mountain, sitting there. God or whoever is very isolated because their energy entanglement is real. It's hard to see the forest for the trees, so it can feel very lonely. And that doesn't mean that you can't have connections, building good, positive connections. Even in romance, the 2 of Cups is usually a friendship, but if it is a romantic, it's a requited type of love. And that can be one thing with these 2 cards together, knowing if a relationship is genuine, if a person is really into you, right? I can see that in many kinds of ways. Are the people who are around me genuinely care about me? Is it reciprocal, or is it a different type of situation? What are y'all doing out there? We have the 3 of Wands climbing the ladder of success. I love it. The 3 of Wands can be e-commerce. It can be expansions, your ships coming in, elevating yourself to another standards. I don't know if you guys know this, but I wear these wings, but in reality, all an angel is a human with a higher level, a higher vibration, a higher awareness, a higher frequency. That's all angels really are in this mortal coil. We're humans with higher consciousness. It's like those people who you see who are always smiling and always loving, and they handle negativity in such a gentle way. That's the key to success right there. And then I know it's hard to do. It's hard to do, especially if you're triggered. And I myself am triggered daily. And to remind myself, what would an earth angel do? They would smile and have compassion. 3 of Wands, with ships coming in, raising yourself to a higher frequency so that you can align with your life's goals. 3 of Wands, it's a more fire energy. I feel like this is Aries energy. It's Mars. Lovers in reverse. Knowing when to walk away from disharmonious relationships. Now, that's any kind of relationship. And I know a lot of people come to tarot because they're heartbroken, they're in an abusive relationship, they're in a toxic relationship, they're lonely. So we come and we watch tarot. We think that, watching these videos It's going to help us, but you still have to do the work at the end of the day to leave the relationships that are chaotic, that are bad for you, that are holding back your growth. That's the hard thing. If we can fix it and make it good, keep it. If you can't, then it's time to reevaluate. Lovers in reverse there. But also it's because that's the blending of the feminine and masculine energy. Six of Pentacles. Look at that. That's the Eskimo there. We got the little, some of you guys could have a dog. Maybe you live in a cold place. I myself am in a cold place right now. There's also a fly on there. Be a fly on the wall. The Six of Pentacles is charity, but it can also be an elevation in your finances. And I always say that acts of service are so good for you. If you're feeling bad about yourself, go feed the homeless. If you're feeling bad about yourself, help someone else out. And that could even go the other way. You know, potentially could get charity or help in some kind of monetary way. The Wheel of Fortune in reverse. I feel like that goes with the Lovers in reverse because it's recognizing karmic relationships, that recognizing patterns that gets you into the karmic relationships. I know that they talk about on the internet, on YouTube, karmic relationship, karmic ties that can never be fixed, right? Recognizing what gets you into relationships that don't work, because that's a pattern that's going to continue, right? What is it that's causing me to have all this bad luck, all this bad energy, these bad relationships? And how can I stop it? How can I reverse my fortune? Here, how can I get the Wheel of Fortune in the upright? Let's see, what else do we have here? The Strength card, more resilience. The Strength card is also Leo energy, the lion. And there's a crocodile on here. Actually, it's a crocodile with like a lion suit on it, which is interesting. And I feel like this is kind of self-deceiving here. Knowing when to be strong and knowing when you're being deceived, right? Because this is like a facade. It's not a lion, it's a crocodile. That's interesting. Resilience. Okay, I'm going to get one more card and we'll get some oracle cards. We'll get out of here. The Magician. You have all the tools at your disposal. Gemini energy. You have all the tools at your disposal to make something happen. All the resources. It's all inwards, just like the Hermit. You know, you have all the answers that you see. Let's get some oracle cards for you guys and we'll get it out of here. For the collective. Gratitude. Third eye chakra. Don't forget to be grateful for what you have. Things could be so much worse. I love that. Ooh. And then we have abundance. Solar plexus chakra. This could be a year of abundance for the Virgo and the Pisces crew. And abundance isn't always money. Sometimes it's emotional or spiritual abundance. But recognizing opportunities that are right in front of you, being grateful for what you have, and using that as a higher frequency to attract more things into your life. It really just starts with the mind. All of it starts with the mind. Okay. Oh, and we have renewal, which is the root chakra renewal. Feeling abundant, feeling renewed, having gratitude, not attitude. Okay, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. I hope that this elevated your consciousness in some type of way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see y'all later. Bye.